There it is. As you read it, I want you to think of 2 questions that could be answered if someone, meaning one of your classmates, used this page as a resource. Those 2 questions need to be the ones listed in the comment section of the discussion tonight as your homework. Go ahead and pause this and make a note of these questions now so you don't forget. Now, I want to move on to the next page. And you're going to take a look at the map at the top of this next page. There are some things here that all maps have in common, like the title. The title of this page is Geography, and the subtitle is Landform Map of the United States. All maps have a title. And then there are labels, like the Pacific Ocean. And then there is a map legend, like this one right, which tells us where the mountains are, the plains are, and the hills are. And then we have a map scale. There's one here for Alaska. But you know what? There's one right here for Hawaii, too. And there's one more on the page, right here, for the whole United States. Why 3 scales? Well, because they're 3 different sizes, and they're set apart from each other, which is very clearly shown on the next map. On this page, we have a map of the United States, but also of Alaska and Hawaii. And on this page, Alaska and Hawaii are in their own separate boxes down here. And they have their own separate, different map scales, which is very cool. So this map has 2 different legends. There's even another legend for the Greater United States map, but that one is listed on the next page. Can you believe it? Let's take a look at that one. Here we go. Now, if you use the legend to find out where things are, it really does define all the symbols so you know where everything is. The scale applies to everything within the borders of that map. So the fact that Alaska and Hawaii are in their own little boxes tells us that we use a different scale for them. The scale for this map can be written in 2 ways. You can either write out the words 1 inch represents 200 miles, or you can use a cool arrow to write what you want to say, like 1 inch arrow represents 200 miles. Pretty snazzy. When the distances you want to find, the distances on the map are in whole numbers, not fractions, the real distance is way easier to find. For example, the straight distance on the map from Chicago to Pittsburgh is about 2 inches in your real SRB at school. And since 1 inch represents 200 miles, you just need to figure out 2 inches times 200 miles is 400, or 400 miles in real life. But what if the distance on the map has a fraction in it? That gets a little more complicated. Let's look at the distance from Chicago to New York City. On the map in your SRB, it's about 3.5 inches. But since 1 inch represents 200 miles, we need to think of it in 2 separate parts. 3 times 200 is 600 miles. Wow, that didn't turn out very well, did it? Let's try that. 600 miles. So we've got that part. Now, we have to think about that half. Half of 200 is 100. So I'm going to write 100 here. Now we've got the 2 parts. So if we add them together, we get 700 miles, or 7 miles, 700 miles. And that's about how far it is from Chicago to New York City. Tomorrow you'll be finding these distances during math. So if this is still a little confusing, go back and watch the video one more time. See you tomorrow.